Have you ever dreamed of setting sail on the open water, mooring up to a dock, watching the sunset from your own yacht? Well, I want to tell you about these amazing port towns that are going to change the way you view living in Washington. Instead of cramming into tight condos in downtown Seattle, I want you to come check out these secret locations. The locals want to keep them secret, and they are some of my favorite port towns in all of Washington. So these communities are just a quick ferry ride away from downtown. And you're gonna find that these charming coastal towns have historic homes, they've got water views, they've got, maybe views of orcas, and the cost can oftentimes be less than getting into a cramped condo in the city. So these are the locations that locals love. When I talk to them, they make their lifestyle about earning money in Seattle and escaping to these communities. So today, I'm taking you through Puget Sound's hidden gems, and these spots that the locals escape to, this is where they go when they want the real Northwest experience without all the craziness in the city. Okay, but before we dive into these specific towns, let me give you a taste of what's actually coming. Okay, I love Seattle, but Seattle can get filled up with tourists, and it can get cramped. And so a lot of the locals, they build their lives around this experience of living in Seattle, but then going and spending time in places that just aren't as crowded. So these Puget Sound towns will change the way you think about living in Seattle. And so what makes these little places so cool is you don't have to spend your day worried about traffic and parking. It's more about ferry times and tide charts and sunset spots and going out and grabbing a glass of wine on the dock to watch whales, or going out fishing or going out crabbing. And it's awesome. So your evening plans really depend on the community and relaxing. The crazy part is the prices might also shock you, because in Seattle, the average home costs $880,000. But in a lot of these little waterfront towns, you can get a water view place with the same money or less, with oftentimes more space, access to nature, and definitely less stress. And what's cool about these communities is the homes, they come with a lifestyle, and it kind of feels like you're on a permanent vacation. Here's what's amazing about a lot of these port towns is you can hike through old growth forest, you can kayak with seals, you can still get on a ferry and make it into Seattle by noon if you need to. So the commute might actually beat a lot of people that are driving and sitting in tough traffic, because that's what Washington is built around. We have this amazing ferry system, and it's a little bit nicer to be stuck on the ferry with some amazing water views than to be stuck on I-5 or 405. So let's talk more about these port towns, starting with a place that feels like it is straight out of Scandinavia. So the first place that I want to talk about is Poulsbo. It's called Little Norway, and it's got these deep Scandinavian roots. So this summer, I have to admit it was the first time I ever went to Poulsbo, and I took a boat out of Edmonds, I took it across the Sound, and we moored in Poulsbo, and I loved it. Okay, so Poulsbo is the reason that I'm doing this list, because I had so much fun this year going over there. I got on a boat out of Edmonds, went through Freedom Boat Club, and we took it out across Puget Sound. It felt like a real adventure. And then we pulled up, moored the boat, walked off. It was a nice hot day. It felt great. And we got up into the town center. It's right there down at the marina. And I was blown away at how cool the town actually looked. And it's because Poulsbo has these really deep Scandinavian roots that really define the town. So you could do what I did, or you could actually take a ferry from Edmonds over to the peninsula, but you'll find yourself just walking through the town, and it really looks like it was picked up from Norway and just dropped into Washington. And it has a famous bakery, it's got Viking festivals, and at Christmas time, the waterfront gets really into it. All the shops go all out. So it was actually started by a Norwegian named Jorgen Ellison, and they thought it looked a lot like home, so they wanted to make it look like Norway. So all the buildings have these really colorful Norwegian style buildings, murals and flags, and they're really all about it. They love it, and it's just part of the town's DNA. And the marina is really beautiful. The waterfront is amazing. They've got a great park up front, and they've got the Sons of Norway Lodge. It hosts Scandinavian lunches and events. So when you are going into Poulsbo, if you pull a boat up there or you drive around to get into it, you really feel like you're getting a cool Norwegian vibe. And that's just nothing I've ever seen anywhere else. Okay, so if you compare Poulsbo to Whidbey Island's waterfront communities, which we're going to check out in a little bit, Poulsbo gives you easier access to the mainland, to Seattle, and it still maintains a distinct identity. So if you look at the housing and you look at the average price, it's about $700,000, which is up 3.5% from last year. But your money goes a lot further than it does if you're in Seattle. So the town has 3 marinas, over 250 acres of parks and open space, and the homes are really nice. They overlook Liberty Bay, they look at the Olympic Mountains, and what is actually crazy to me is you can get a waterfront property there, and it's gonna cost you about the same amount that it would cost to buy a townhome in Ballard or Fremont. Okay, so as much as I loved Poulsbo's old world charm and visiting the town, here's where I think it actually gets interesting. Just a short drive to the ferry and across the water, there's another waterfront town that is taking a totally different path. By the way, if we haven't actually met, I'm Sean McConnell, and I've been helping families find their perfect homes around Puget Sound for years. And here's what's crazy. So many of these incredible communities, a lot of the buyers completely miss it. They just drive right past it because they're so focused on the city. And that's exactly why I want to do these neighborhood deep dives, because I want to show you the spots that most people just drive right past, and this could be where your perfect home is. So if you click the subscribe button somewhere, you can stay ahead of Seattle's real estate curve and discover these insider spots before everyone else catches on. Okay, so while people are just fighting over Seattle waterfront, there's an amazing little town called Langley, and it's on Whidbey Island. And it's where locals actually go to ring a brass bell when they spot orcas, when they spot whales swimming by through the waterfront. So Langley sits on the east side of Whidbey Island, and it looks out over the Saratoga Passage. And it's just a 15-minute drive from the Clinton Ferry. So the way you get to the Clinton Ferry terminal is from Mukilteo, and it makes it really reachable. So the second you drive off the ferry, you can actually feel that like time has slowed down and you are on the island. So Langley is a really cute little town. The town is all about marine life. The Langley Water Center, it's run by a group called the Orca Network, and they just focus on teaching people about marine life and marine mammals, and especially the endangered southern resident orcapods. Plus, there's also gray whales that come right offshore, and you can see them from March to May. So Langley has become this like hub for people that are really serious about whale protection and whale watching. So when somebody spots a whale, you run down to the brass bell and you ring it to try to get everybody else in town to see what you just saw. There's something else that I love about Langley, and they have bunnies, not like hares, not little rabbits, but like fat Easter looking bunnies walking around town. I don't know what it's all about, but I've noticed that every time I go there, I see them, hopping around town. It's really cute. And so the Whidbey Island housing market, the average home is sitting at around $610,000. I would say if you're going to live in Langley proper, you're going to expect to spend a lot more than that. But if you're comparing waterfront investment potential, you'll find that this is much lower than what you're going to see when we go to Gig Harbor a little bit later, where the pricing in Gig Harbor has actually jumped up 8% over the last year. Downtown Langley has beautiful old buildings filled with cool shops, art galleries, and waterfront restaurants, and you can find everything from like cute little cottages to amazing waterfront estates. But they have a very, very chilled out, relaxed island feel that's getting really hard to find anywhere. So every spring, Langley hosts the Welcome the Whales event with the Orca Network, and there's a parade where people dress up as sea creatures, carry a 20-foot fabric whale named Gary through the downtown, and it's quirky and it's weird, but like in a totally cool way. And it shows you how these communities just really build up their identity around the natural setting that they've got going. Okay, so if we head 15 miles north of Seattle, there's a town that is totally transformed from a retirement community to an art and culture hub. So Edmonds has a lot of things. It has art, it has ferries, it has beaches, I love it. I live here. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And it was actually designated as Washington's first creative district back in 2017. And what's great about it is there's tons of art. There's beautiful murals in town. Lots of local artists come and do these. And if you walk around the town center, you can go on a little scavenger hunt and find these. But I was drawn to Edmonds because of the waterfront. I think the waterfront is just amazing. And the marina in Edmonds is in great shape. It's really modern. And it's a great place where you can just walk, check out the sunsets, take your dogs for a walk, or go access the beaches right past the marina. And I think that's why people just fight so hard to live in Edmonds. The Edmonds Bowl, all of that western-facing exposure, those beautiful sunsets, the Olympic mountain views, it makes it a top location for people that love coastal living. And if you love coastal living, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the San Juan Islands later. And this is what I would say is the height of waterfront luxury living. Okay, so the ferry terminal in Edmonds is amazing. It's a game changer, and it's really great place to just go for a view, go check out the water, and maybe you'll even see some marine life. But it's actually a great way to get over to the peninsula without having to drive all the way around and take your entire day. So a lot of my clients, they actually just prefer to take the ferry rather than driving around because they don't have to deal with all the traffic. They get to just sit there and look out the window and take a beautiful boat ride. But here's the thing with Edmonds, the median home price is around $935,000, which is down a little bit from last year. So maybe there's a deal for you, but it is still one of the area's most sought after spots. And what's cool with Edmonds is you can still find water view places. You won't get priced out completely if you're comparing it to something you'd find in Seattle. And this is something I love personally. The food scene in Edmonds has blown up over the last few years. You can get fresh oysters, you can get lobster rolls, you can get sushi, you can get steak dinners, burgers. We've got it all in Edmonds. And I would say, maybe you're gonna find something a little bit more unique in Seattle, but there's great food options up here in Edmonds. So if you wanna be a townie, if you just wanna go down to the water and keep it local, it's a great place to do it. These aren't just bedroom communities where people sleep and head into Seattle for jobs. Each town has its own personality. It draws a different type of buyer, and you're gonna find people that never go into Seattle and just live exclusively in these towns like Edmonds. Okay, so here's what I love about the San Juan Islands. You can spend your mornings watching orcas. They feed right offshore. Then you can have dinner at a historic hotel where presidents have stayed. And you can do all this while living in one of the richest marine environments on the entire West Coast. And you've got Friday Harbor, which is this perfect, walkable little seaport town. It's basically the gateway to the entire San Juan Island chain. And the waters here are supported by 2 different orca pods. So you've got these endangered salmon-eating southern residents, and then you actually have transient mammal-eating killer whales, and their numbers have been steadily increasing. And you can learn all this if you visit the Whale Museum that's downtown, and you can learn a ton about the local marine life and the conservation programs that are going on in the San Juans. So the median home value in Friday Harbor runs at around $887,000, but you can spend way more than that. There are some multi-million-dollar luxury properties that are on the islands there, but it's well worth it because the islands have this amazing marine lifestyle. They have an art scene, they have great restaurants, really cool cultural events, and the downtown is pretty packed. It's pretty walkable. The rest of the island can get a little remote. So despite the island feeling a little remote in other places, you can commute to the mainland. So if you have a job that's maybe in Bellingham or even in Seattle, it is possible. There is a high-speed ferry, but I would recommend work remote, live on the islands, enjoy that island lifestyle. So over on the north end of the San Juan Island, you have Roche Harbor, super nice upscale community, and it has this hotel that was built back in 1886 called Hotel de Haro, and it's the oldest continually operating hotel in the entire state. And there's been people like Teddy Roosevelt who have stayed there. It's like a living postcard. Beautiful white buildings, perfect gardens, everything surrounding the harbor, and just really nice upscale yachts and sailboats coming into the marina. So the marina is really cool. It has 377 slips, super protected cove, and waterfront homes that are starting at around $1.5 million. But what's really cool is they made it feel really historic. They kept the old historic vibe. So Roche Harbor feels like nothing else that we've talked about already. So they do a unique evening ceremony where they lower the flags of the US, the British, the Canadian flags, and they do cannon fire. And it's a nod to the rich maritime history of the region. And these towns, these marinas, really give you access to the rest of the San Juan Islands, and you could just explore these islands for weeks, months, and still never come across the same spot. Okay, I love this little town. It feels like the sister city of Edmonds. I don't know if it is, but that's what it feels like. And what's great about it is Gig Harbor has just transformed from a little working fishing port into one of the most desirable waterfront spots in the entire Northwest. And what's great is it's kept this maritime character all along the way, and that's what makes this town so special. Gig Harbor's roots actually are in fishing and boat building, and the Scansey family had been building ships here for generations, so the whole downtown marina still feels like a boatyard, and that history is still celebrated today. And what's really cool about Gig Harbor is they've just really preserved this heritage. So when you're walking the harbor, you still see working fishing boats, and they're just tied up next to like $1-million yachts. And it is just a daily reminder of the history and the future of this little town. And I gotta tell you, the housing market in Gig Harbor is on fire. There is a median price point of $975,000. And that's huge. That's up 8.3% from last year. That is a big jump, probably the biggest of any of these waterfront communities we've looked at. But here's what's really great. Even though the home values climb, fancy new homes are replacing these old fishing cottages. So the working waterfront, it's still staying alive, but you still have these really cool waterfront cottages at the same time. So I love it. You go there, you see commercial fishermen, you see them unloading their catch, and it just makes you want to run out to the nearest seafood restaurant. And on that note, the downtown waterfront has become like a culinary destination. You've got Anthony's on the water there in Gig Harbor. You've got the Finholm Marketplace, and you've got just these amazing views of Mount Rainier right from the harbor. It's just a really cool spot. Go visit it, go take your family, go for a day trip. You can go kayaking, paddleboarding, just watch the boats come in, watch them bring in the fresh catches. It's a great spot. I love it. But the harbor is just the heart of the community. It's a super walkable marina, and you can see the fishing industry just operating alongside all of the luxury elements that are coming into this town. So it's really this combination of the historic charm with the upscale amenities, the genuine maritime character that really draws people into Gig Harbor. These port cities around Puget Sound offer a quintessential Northwest lifestyle. It mixes maritime character, natural beauty, and it's all close to Seattle. Paulsbo with its Norwegian roots, Edmonds with its art scene, Friday Harbor, Roche Harbor with its historic luxury, Gig Harbor. It's just like the perfect balance of fishing town and upscale living. Each community is different, but they offer their own take on that waterfront lifestyle in the Northwest. And I'm sure getting out and exploring is the best part, right? You can find one that matches with your needs. What resonates with you? I'm happy to share my experiences with each of these communities. So if you're thinking of moving to Seattle or any one of these areas, reach out to me. You can email me at sean.mc@compass.com. We can set up personalized tours for you. We can get you into any of these incredible communities. And you just got to tell me, what do you want? What's your budget like? And we can help you get into these locations. I'm in these towns weekly, and I can give you the inside scoop on these neighborhoods. I can tell you what it's like to commute from there, what the development plans are like, and if you want to explore these areas, maybe just for an investment. But if you want to explore other options on the mainland, I have the perfect video right here, and in it, I revealed the suburbs that are heating up right now and where I would personally put my money before the market catches on. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Seattle.